Farmer's wife enters baking contest as a joke. The judges couldn't stop crying. They laughed when she walked in. Dust still clung to the hem of her skirt. Her boots were stained with dry soil, and her apron smelled faintly of hay and cinnamon. Most contestants showed up with airbrushed fondant, laminated recipes, and confidence sharp as glass. She showed up with a pie in a paper box. No brand name, no bio, just her and a quiet smile. They assumed she'd wandered into the wrong event. After all, this was the Tri-State Culinary Showcase, not a county fair. Chefs with Michelin dreams stood in polished white jackets, scoffing as she set her pie gently on the contest table. "Is this some kind of joke?" one whispered. "If it is, she committed to the role," another smirked. She didn't flinch. What they didn't know, what no one in that room could have guessed, was that the recipe she carried wasn't just for a dessert. It was a key, a locked memory, a piece of her soul, folded and pressed between flour and fire. Because years ago, before she became the farmer's wife, before the wedding, before the fields and the storms and the sleepless winters, she had been something else. She had been alone, homeless, sleeping behind a bakery in a forgotten corner of the city, wrapped in the scent of bread she couldn't afford. On the coldest nights, the baker's wife would leave out scraps, crumbs, and once, a slice of warm pie left in a small box, covered with a napkin that simply read, "Asterisk for you." Asterisk. It saved her life. That taste, that kindness, it buried itself in her like a seed waiting for spring. Years later, when she married a farmer with strong hands and gentle silence, she remembered the recipe. Not word for word, but flavor by feeling, emotion by instinct. And now here she was, not to win, not even to compete, but to say thank you to a world that had once left her in the cold. The judges cut into her pie almost reluctantly, ready to dismiss it. But then, something happened. The room grew still. The first judge took a bite and paused, fork halfway to the plate. The second leaned forward, eyes suddenly wet. The third just sat back, closed their eyes, and whispered, "My mother used to," then stopped. The judges couldn't explain it. The taste was simple, no exotic ingredients, no flash, but it hit somewhere deeper. Each bite pulled at something old and aching. Childhood. Loss. Hope. The crowd noticed. Whispers turned to questions. Who was she? What was in that pie? She said nothing. The MC, trying to regain control, asked for her name, her bakery, her background. "I'm just a farmer's wife," she replied. But someone had already Googled the name she wrote on the entry form. It didn't lead to a bakery. It led to a string of nonprofit filings under aliases. Donations to shelters. Anonymous food deliveries to homeless camps across 3 states. Someone had been feeding people quietly for years. No name, no praise, just kindness. And it all started with a single pie. One of the judges, an acclaimed chef with a reputation for cruelty, stood up and walked toward her. He held out his hand, then changed his mind and embraced her instead. The room exploded into applause. Cameras flashed. TikTok clips went viral within hours. Hashtag mystery baker, hashtag pie that made us cry, hashtag from fields to fame, hashtag kindness in crust. But before anyone could offer her a show, a book deal, a brand, she left. Just picked up her paper box, nodded politely, and stepped out into the rain. They searched for her for days. Food bloggers, journalists, even TV producers. No trace. Until one night, a young reporter found a handwritten note left on the contest table, tucked beneath a flour-dusted napkin. It read, "Asterisk, feed people with your hands, and they'll thank you. Feed them with your heart, and they'll never forget." Asterisk. She was never seen again, at any event. But months later, a pie showed up at the doorstep of every judge. No return address. Just a paper box and a folded napkin.